If you haven't heard the news, the Steve Clifford era is over again, but his exit from the court does not necessarily mean that he's leaving Charlotte. We got the details on why he decided to step down, and that's coming up right now on Charlotte Sports Live. Welcome inside Charlotte Sports Live this Wednesday night. I'm Carla Gebhardt. He is Mike Lissette, and Mike, we were talking about this earlier. We knew we were going to be talking about the Hornets tonight because they had a game at the Spectrum Center, but we didn't necessarily think we were going to be talking about this today.
I know. And I got to say, I think it's funny, the video that we used there. He didn't leave angrily. He left very peacefully and very at peace with his decision. We got much more for you on Clifford tonight. Also more basketball, too, including the Carolina teams that are still in the big dance. We'll talk about the Wolfpack and the Gamecocks. We also caught up with Panthers long snapper J.J. Jansen at tonight's game, and Larry Mack back to talk Martinsville this weekend. But as you mentioned before, let's get to the more shocking news of the day.
I mean, it really was shocking, right? I mean, Hornets head coach Steve Clifford announcing this morning, any head coach.
It definitely places him into elite company. Only 74 other coaches have done it. He's the 75th. You know, he had a successful run with the team the first time around, 2 trips to the playoffs. This time around, definitely not as successful. He talked about, you know, the fact that things did not turn out the way that he wanted to, and I appreciate the honesty there in that press conference. I mean, we may never know all the ins and outs behind his departure, but at the very least, it sounds like he is a little bit sort of come to terms with the fact that the game has changed. Things have sort of passed him by a little bit. It's not the same when he entered coaching in 1983 at the high school level. I was talking to Paul Pasqualoni about this, former Panthers coach. He said, what's different about coaching now versus back when you started, and that was in the 70s in his case? And he said it's the why. Kids want to know today, why am I going to do this? Why am I going to go to the line? Why am I going to dive for that loose ball? Whereas in the past, it was, yes, coach, right away. And I think, you know, for an old school guy like Clifford, that probably gets a little old after a while. Yeah,
it's definitely a different generation, but there are some questions out there. I think you do wonder, did he see this as maybe the possible writing on the wall? Did he come here to begin with as kind of a bridge coach? You know, you got a lot of questions that, like you said, might not ever be answered.
It's definitely a fair point. I mean, because the fact of the matter is the team was in a time of transition the past year, and you got to wonder who knew what and how much when. Well, as we said before, Clifford will coach the team's final 7 games. One of them, as Carla said, was tonight against the Blazers. First quarter, Clifford's team brought out some of their best moves. Check out Trey Mann here, behind the back. Grant Williams, 3. And later, backdoor. Davis Bertans looking like Michael Jordan there on the reverse. Still, Charlotte was down 9 after 1. Second quarter, how about some fundamentals? JT Thor gives, goes, and scores. Plus, he was fouled off of 1 of 11 assists from Williams. Charlotte down only 1 at the break. Now, despite being severely depleted, Hornets just would not go away. Reigning rookie of the month, Brandon Miller, big down the stretch, down 4, gets 3 of his 21. Charlotte within 1 with a minute to go. Next, Portland possession. Hornets need a stop. They also need a rebound, and they would get none of it. DeAndre Ayton there on the putback, put the Blazers up 3. Charlotte did have one last chance. It's Bertans, got a good look in the corner, missed it at the buzzer. So 4 straight losses now for the Hornets as they go down in this one at 89-86.
It's not so much.
And Cliff not lying about that board situation. Hornets crushed rebounding-wise tonight, 55-36. Some better shooting would have helped the situation with last no relief there. 5 of 31 from 3. Big issue, though, continues to be injuries. Look at all the guys who were out. Some are the usual suspects, but tonight Charlotte also didn't have Bridges, Mijic, and Richards due to being banged up as well.
I'm ready for all those guys to get better.
Meanwhile, the women of the Wolfpack might have an even more daunting task. They play the #1 overall seed, the national powerhouse that roams just an hour away from here, talking about the South Carolina Gamecocks. They're already in Cleveland preparing for its game Friday at 7 o'clock. Head coach Wes Moore keeping his team loose. In fact, sounds like they're already partying in the land.
You know, we had a little party.
Well, Charlotte Sports Live was live at the ballpark last night, but if you went to the game today, you got to see a Panther take the mound.
Of course, not a real Panther. That would be just a little bit dangerous. But the realest of reals, as far as the roster is concerned, Panthers long snapper and 15-year veteran J.J. Jansen.
And tick-tock goes the grandfather clock. That's what they're racing for this weekend in Martinsville. A guy who's already won there is that man right there, America's crew chief, Larry Mack, standing by to talk all things NASCAR. Plus, Charlotte FC has its new man, and he is ready to make an impact.
But it's not the Crown making the latest hit. Another team just made the announcement and the statement that Charlotte is the soccer city. You're going to see why Charlotte Sports Live is saying that live when we return next.